time. Pleasure having the chance to speak with you. I've had a chance to see this show in the past, so I'm excited that it's coming back in Toronto. For folks who don't know what I'm talking about and what this background is all about, what's the big show coming to Toronto over the holiday season?
So it's called Champions of Magic. First of all, I have to apologize if you've got any bad audio. It's because I'm in a theatre. We're in a touring theatre show at the moment, and we're traveling around. I'm in Norfolk, West Virginia. Sorry, Norfolk, Virginia, actually down in the States. But we're coming to Toronto on the 27th of December onwards, so just after Christmas, and that runs into the new year. And the show is called Champions of Magic, and it's four cast members. We're each doing different styles of magic, and as you can see from the graphic behind you, it's all framed with pyrotechnics, energy. It's a very high production show. But we've been touring for many years with the show, and it's gone through a few different iterations. But the exciting thing about this upcoming run is that most of the material in the show is new. We've came out the 27th of October, having spent a bit of time in the summer working on new ideas and routines, and then we've implemented that on at the end of October, and we've been sort of working it as we go. So we're still touring around, so we've got plenty of opportunities to do the show before we get to Toronto, which should in theory mean that the show is amazing by the time it gets to Toronto.
Oh, I already know it will be. And by the way, you sound great, so don't worry about it. Um, the thing is, when people come to magic shows, especially these days, they're all trying to figure out what's what and whatever else. And I find with your show, you can look as hard as you can, and you're still going, wow, I have no idea how it's done. How difficult is it these days to make sure that you have a show that has the true wow factor behind it?
That's a really, really good question because we all live in a world now where, I mean, especially with AI and all the other stuff that happens in that device on your phone, it is so mind-blowingly impressive that then the job of the magician, you could say, is to try and exceed that. I mean, we're all professional magicians, so we've grown up in and around magic. So, of course, by default, that's our job. Our job is to deceive you and make sure, at the very bare minimum, you don't know how the trick works. But that's not really what it's about. I mean, of course, that's the threshold. I don't know how the trick works, but it's about giving the audience a fun bit of escapism and experience, something for them to really leave having been entertained. So, of course, the magic being baffling is great, but hopefully, you leave feeling. I know all those great emotions you do when you go to live theatre.
It's
Um,
more, I was going to say, to me, this show isn't just a magic show, it's like a concert because there's
yeah,
so much happening.
well, when we were here last time, which maybe when you saw it in 2023 in Toronto, is that we did the Meridian Hall. So that was a big space. That was 3,500 seats, and the show is big by nature. It's got large scale illusions, lots of I think something like 178 moving lights or something. But we're lucky this time because we're in a venue called the Bluma Appel Theatre or the St. Lawrence Performing Arts Centre, and what's great about that is they've got the stage space to accommodate the show. They've got all the space you need, but then you've also got 900 seats. So what happens really is those people in the back row are so connected, and the whole room is so engaged in what's going on. And it's not very often you get to see big scale illusions. There's lots of content online, and if you go out for to Christmas parties and things, you might find a close up magician doing sleight of hand magic. But to see big scale illusions so up close is a really it's pleasurable for us because we get to, get the reaction, which is pretty unrivaled when you see big illusions on a stage.
One of the things I remember too were the magicians were truly international. They were from around the world. Is it the same thing this time around?
Yeah, it is. I mean, my friend and I, who do a double act called Young and Strange, we're in the show, and then we've also got Fernando Velasco, who's actually pictured behind you in that big sort of man trap Jaws thing, or that's the routine he used to do. So we're still in the show, but then we've got a new cast member called Liberty Larson, who's from. Not sure if you know or you've ever been to Los Angeles. There's the Magic Castle in Hollywood, which is
Yes.
this sort of well-known, very well-respected magic venue. It's her family that initially set that up. So she's got a long history and heritage of performing in magic and is a really great storyteller, really good performer. So, but like I say, about 75, 80% of the show is brand new. So even if you came last time, you should have a new experience.
I'm curious though, does it bother you when you see, I've seen it a couple of times on TikTok and it was from, well, some people do this. Some of it was from a show back in, I do believe, the 90s when you have somebody revealing the magic shows.
Yes.
They say, or the magic tricks, they say they're doing it to try to up the scale for magicians. Me, I go, well, you just kind of told me something that I was enjoying. It's like I'm a wrestling fan. I don't want to know all the things that are going on. You're ruining for me what I used to think it was all real.
Great question. It's a really controversial subject in magic at the moment because although there was the masked magician is the person you're
Yeah.
referring to, a guy called Val Valentino, who in the early 90s did a TV special called uh I think it was just called The Masked Magician, actually, or The Magic Secrets Revealed. And what he was doing, he was taking all these great illusion principles over the course of many decades, and he was, doing the performance of it and then exposing it. Now, my beef with him is that they were never his tricks to reveal. You have to bear in mind that it certainly was stage illusions, and is that these stage illusions are crafted by some incredibly clever people who have spent their life working on the principles, coming up with prototypes, changing it, tweaking it, rebuilding it, pouring in huge amounts of money and time to create what is a really good optical deceptive principle. And just to expose it, it makes the thing look cheap and silly,
Yeah.
and it's not their artistic creation. So I sort of feel if you've come up with your own idea, well, that's your intellectual property to do whatever you want with, but not other people's. But the thing is, now we're in a landscape of social media where that's such good clickbait fodder, isn't it? To go, here's a trick, I'm going to do it to the camera. Oh, and by the way, this is how it works. It's really gratifying. It's quick. But what it does is it cheapens magic, actually, because it's not just about, oh, this is this silly little gimmick that you fell for. You're an idiot for falling for it. It actually, magic in the right hands and presented well can be really a good experience. We're not as magicians in the Western world. We're not. It doesn't need debunking, or of course it's all nonsense and trickery and deception and illusion. But that's the ride you want to go on because we live in such a cynical world that you might as well try and suspend your disbelief in order to get that gratification and nice feeling, as opposed to. Sorry, I segued in the conversation, but as you can tell, it's a bit of a potent topic.
No, I agree with the look. I still remember as a kid when a gentleman showed me the trick of removing his thumb. And of course, I didn't realize what he did. And I remember going to school the next day going, no, you can see his bones and everything. He really took his thumb off and put it back. That's me as a kid using my imagination to help push that trick that I
Yeah.
saw, and to me, that's the fun part about going to these shows because even whatever you see, your imagination even adds a little bit more to the trick that you're seeing. So you're talking about a whole bunch of things that you might not have seen, but your
Yeah.
brain is telling yourself you saw it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You do also need those things you've described there. You need to have those tricks early on to encourage the kids' mystery and fascination in the art form of magic. If you just strip it all back and go, here's a silly trick, here's how it works, here's a silly trick, there's no progression. I mean, when
Yeah,
I was younger, I used to join the local magic society, and then I ended up joining the Magic Circle in London, which is this sort of mysterious organization, and all of that really fostered a passion and a love for it, which unfortunately that clickbait nonsense doesn't really do.
I agree with you. Give me one big trick that we can look forward to in the show.
Well, there's lots of tricks that we can look forward to into the show. Actually, one of the things we're doing at the moment, which I'm certainly selfishly really enjoying, is we get a kid up from the audience. Bear in mind that in this show, there's no Confederates, no Stooges, no people on the payroll. I mean, mainly because we can't afford it. But it's they are genuinely throw out random objects into the audience to show that it's not a stooge or a plant. And that person is brought up on stage, and we get this kid and we put this kid in a box with their permission, and then they vanish in front of the entire audience. And it's really good because what's great about kids is they don't lie broadly. Adults can still be polite. They can come to a show and you can meet them after and they go, "Oh, I really enjoyed it," but you never quite know where the truth and what they thought about the show lies. But with kids, they're so expressive and so honest. Anywhere from sort of six upwards, we have people coming to the show. Is that to see that? It sounds corny, doesn't it? But to see that wonderment and genuine magic in their eyes is incredible.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Thank you so much for doing this interview. But thank you guys for doing what you do. Thank you so much for reminding folks that, yeah, life can be magical.
It
And
can. I
you
mean, we all
guys,
just we all cycle the news apps and the social media feeds and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff, and you just end up absorbing all this negativity. But this is just meant to be fun. It's meant to be fun, enjoyable, wholehearted family entertainment. And I think on that front, we deliver.
definitely do. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you guys here in Toronto. Looking forward to it. Thank you again.
Thanks, Rudy. Here's a trick.
Okay.
It's a deck of playing cards, which will sit in full view in this frame. Rudy, inside this deck of cards is one reversed card. You're going to say the name of any card, and it would be a miracle if by coincidence it happened to match. Can I just throw it in? I mean, you're just taking a big inhale as though you're about to deliver your answer. But a lot of people say the Ace of Spades and the Queen of Hearts. They're the iconic, cliched choices. It's up to you. You can go with those cards, but I'm just letting you know that statistical piece of information.
Two of diamonds.
Do you want to change your mind?
No.
And the deck hasn't moved. I'm not. There's nothing coming into frame. I'll take it out. So take it out like this. Nothing in this hand. I will go through the cards, and you'll see that I'm going to skew my face for a second. But every single card here is facing one way, and there's one reverse card in the center of the deck. This card here, which of course happens to be the two of diamonds.
Ooh.
Wow, that's lucky.